If you're an attorney who uses AI tools like Claude or ChatGPT, and you work with large PDFs, like let's say an insurance claim file, you might have found it really annoying to upload gigantic PDFs into AI tools. Today, I'm going to show you how you can use a tool like Claude Cowork to make this much easier. You can get around any size limitations that the app might have. And you can also easily break up the PDFs into smaller chunks if you want to send them out or inspect them on their own. If we take a look at my screen, I've got a folder here for a fake law firm called McDonald's Law PLLC. And as you can see, we've got a claim file here. And on Mac OS, we can see that this is a 280 megabyte claim file, and it's also 520 pages, so it is absolutely gigantic. I generated this PDF using Claude, and if we scroll through it, all the data is completely fake, but it's got a bunch of different sections. You can see it's broken up into stuff like cover, index, and intake summary, insurance correspondence, medical records, all that kind of stuff. If we go into Claude on the web and try to upload this PDF, it will actually work, but it's going to take a long time. And Claude is going to struggle with it a little bit. I just asked it what's in this PDF, and as you can see over here, it's still processing on Anthropic servers because it is just a gigantic PDF. It's probably eventually going to give us an answer, but overall, it's really annoying to work with, and it might actually crash the Claude web app. Waiting, it's finally starting to output some information. It was able to read some of the pages of the PDF at least. One of the reasons this was so painful is that the PDF is very large. We had to actually upload it into Claude, which means we are sending it over to Anthropic servers. They have to process it, and then they have to make it available for Claude to see. If you upload a small file, like maybe a 2-page PDF, this process is very fast and doesn't really matter. But when you've got something that's almost 300 megabytes and 500 pages, you start to see why it's very painful. That's why it's often better to use a tool like Claude Cowork, which already has access to all the files and folders on your computer. I'm going to go down here and actually select the McDonald's Law PLLC folder. Here it is. I'm going to click open. And now I'm going to ask Claude what's in the PDF. Notice that I don't even need to upload the PDF because Claude is going to be able to see everything that we were seeing in that folder. It notices right away that it's 520 pages, which is actually a good thing because you don't want Claude to look at every single page at once. It's better for it to poke around and figure out precisely where it needs to look because it actually knows that if it's going to read 500 pages at once, it is 100% going to crash. You'll also see that Claude is smart enough to realize that this document needs to be OCR'd. That stands for optical character recognition. I've actually made a video about this in the past that I'll link in the description of this video. But basically, Claude is detecting that it needs to use its vision and figure out what the words say because there's no embedded text layer in the document. And if you look on the right-hand side, Claude actually picked a bunch of pages of the PDF and converted them to PNGs. And for instance, if we open that here, we can see that this was part of the generated PDF. It also picked up on the fact that it's organized into 7 sections. So one thing you might want to do is actually pull out a specific section because having a 520-page PDF isn't just annoying for Claude. It's annoying if you want to send it around or share it with somebody too. So why don't we actually have Claude create a new PDF that is only going to contain section C. So that would be pages 77 to 146. So I'm asking Claude here, can you create a new PDF that is just section C? If you were to do this manually, it'd probably involve Adobe Acrobat. And although that's not that difficult, it's pretty annoying. And honestly, Claude's just going to be much faster. And of course, it doesn't mind doing this kind of thing. We take a look at this folder. It actually created the new PDF claim file section C. And opening it up here, we can see that this new PDF is only 70 pages, and it is only going to contain the pages that were relevant in section C. And Claude's also going to open this up in the file preview on the right for us too. You can get more creative than that if you want to. Like perhaps you wanted to take this section C and attach it as an exhibit in a motion you were going to submit to court. In a lot of courts, you've got to add a label at the beginning of that PDF that says something like Exhibit A or Exhibit B. If you want to do this manually, you might have to create a Word doc that says Exhibit A, make sure the font is right, convert that to PDF, then go to Adobe Acrobat and take the Section C PDF and then add the exhibit label before it. Again, it's not rocket science, but we don't want to do that. Let Claude do it. So I'm telling Claude, can you now create a new PDF? It should be the Section C, but it should have a cover page that just says Exhibit A, like for an exhibit on a motion. Again, notice that I have a bunch of typos, and this isn't really grammatically correct. As long as you get the point across, Claude's going to figure it out. And I'll also point out that you don't even need Adobe Acrobat installed in order to do this. And I've said this before in a previous video, but what Claude is actually doing under the hood is actually writing a program for you that's only going to do this one specific thing. So it's like if you had a software developer that could write you a single-use software program that was just going to create a PDF with this exhibit label. It sounds kind of insane because you would obviously never hire a software developer to do that, but it would be really useful if you were able to do that, and that's where Claude comes in. If we take a look back at my Finder, we're going to see the new file, this Exhibit A Insurance Correspondence PDF, and just like I told Claude, it did not delete any of the old PDFs. I wanted to start a new PDF, that way if it were to make a mistake, it wouldn't delete anything that it had already done. Now if you take a look, it's the exact same PDF as the one before, it just has this Exhibit A page on the front. And it checks out because now we have 71 pages instead of 70. And again, Claude's going to also show you that in the right-hand pane on the Claude app. But it's also helpful to understand that what it's really doing is just creating new files and folders on your desktop for you. Pretty much any time in the past where you needed to open up Adobe Acrobat or combine two PDFs, Claude is able to do that much more easily. And honestly, it's a lot less error prone. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any questions or other video topics, let me know. You can reach out personally to me via email. I'm going to leave it in the description of this video.